what do we have here? Well, we have chaos right out of the gates. First of all, guys, this is Golden Blue Dude. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. This channel is home of at least one college football video every single day. So the start of this championship day, this Saturday, is starting off in chaos. Number 9 Baylor upsets number 5 Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship 21-16. And at one point, it looked like Baylor was actually going to blow out Oklahoma State, clear out of the building. But Oklahoma State kind of fought their way back and gave themselves a shot to win the game in the closing seconds of this game. The quarterback for Oklahoma State, Spencer Sanders, he had a terrible day. He had probably the worst day he could have hoped for. He was 31 for 46, 257 yards, 4 interceptions. And that's basically what cost Oklahoma State the game. Turnover after turnover after turnover. Now, the weird thing for Baylor, though, is their prolific offense didn't do all that much. Well, it did in the first half. Then after that, just kind of went away. They only had 292 total offensive yards the entire game. Oklahoma State had 333 offensive yards, so they actually had more yards. At halftime, Baylor was leading Oklahoma State 21-6. So that means in the second half, Oklahoma State scored 10 unanswered points, but it wasn't enough because they came up just short there at the end of the football game. Baylor with the defensive stop. The weird thing about this game is it looked like Baylor out Oklahoma Stated Oklahoma State. They played the role of Oklahoma State better than what Oklahoma State did. They look like Oklahoma State. That's what I'm trying to say. Baylor beat Oklahoma State by looking like Oklahoma State. Now, whenever I picked this game, I did pick Baylor, but I expected them to win by, a shootout. I was predicting them to win by 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns, something maybe like a 35-21, 35-24, something like that, because I thought they were going to score a lot of points. Complete opposite. It was the defense that bailed Baylor out, and it was the defense that won the game for Baylor. And the bad news for Oklahoma State, just like 2011, very close to getting to the national championship. In this instance, the playoffs, and they fall just short again. And Oklahoma State, they were a really good team this year. They only had 1 loss, and it was a questionable loss to Iowa State. No one knows why that happened. But besides that, this entire season, Oklahoma State looked like they were getting better and better and better. If you looked at the Cowboys at the beginning of the season, especially that Boise State game, they should have not won that game. After that, it just seemed like they kept getting better. And then they get to the Big 12 championship and choke time, big time choke time. And I know it's hard to beat a really good team twice in a row. Well, except for Utah. They beat Oregon twice in a row. You already know Utah beat Oregon in the Pac-12 championship, obliterated them again in the Pac-12 championship. But for everybody else, it's tough to beat a really good team twice in the same season. And Oklahoma State couldn't do it. So Oklahoma State climbs all the way up to number 5. And then they get beat by Baylor. No shot to make the playoffs. I don't care what kind of chaos happens. Oklahoma State is not getting to the playoffs. Baylor, on the other hand, Baylor actually has a small chance. This was the first step on their long shot of getting into the playoffs. They need Georgia to beat Alabama. They need Cincinnati to lose to Houston. They need Michigan to lose to Iowa. And they also need to be in the good graces of the playoff committee. I mean, even if all that stuff does happen, they need the playoff committee to look on them favorably. So a long shot for Baylor to make the playoffs, but it's still there. And it started off with this win against Oklahoma State. I mean, Baylor's ranked high enough. They're number 9. And then they beat a top 5 Oklahoma State team. I'm telling you, there's a chance. It's a small one, but there's a chance that Baylor could somehow squeeze their way into the playoffs. So we'll see if the rest of the day yields some more chaos. But so far, chaotic start. Oklahoma State, you're out. You have no shot to make the playoffs. Once again, you fall just short. Trust me, I have empathy for you because as a West Virginia fan, hey, we've done it many, many times myself. In my lifetime, 3 off the top of my head. 3 stinking times. So I know, it sucks. But at least you have Mike Gundy. He's a Hall of Fame coach. Mike Gundy is a Hall of Fame coach. He'll have Oklahoma State in contention in the years to come. Y'all just extended him. He's not going anywhere. So Oklahoma State's going to be relevant in the Big 12 for many, many years to come. But it wasn't your year. This was not your year to win the Big 12. This was Baylor's year. And, you know, as a West Virginia fan, this is a little frustrating to watch because Baylor hired Dave Aranda, and he's taken them to the promised land in a very short time. Neil Brown at West Virginia, man, we're struggling. We're struggling. This is what I want West Virginia to be doing. So Dave Aranda is proving that you can do it in a short amount of time. West Virginia needs to follow that blueprint and get themselves in contention as well. So congratulations, Baylor. You're showing West Virginia how it's done. So we need to be taking notes and seeing how you guys did it and try to figure out how we can do it as well. So congratulations to the Bears, Big 12 champs. If I told you I saw this coming at the beginning of the season, I would be a flat-out liar. I did not see this coming. But hey, you did it. Great season. Awesome season. You have a good coach. Hopefully Baylor can keep Dave Aranda at Baylor. Because I'm telling you, those bigger names are going to come a-calling for Dave Aranda. Let's see how the rest of this college football Saturday pans out. Championship Saturday pans out. More chaos. And the playoffs still have yet to be decided. This didn't help really at all. I mean, Baylor, a glimmer of hope. But I'm telling you, if Oklahoma State would have won this, I think one spot would be off the board right now. If the Cowboys would have won the Big 12 championship, one spot, one playoff spot would be off the board. But since they didn't lose, yes, Baylor can sneak in. But trust me, they have not locked down a spot in the playoffs. They are a long shot to make the playoffs. So let's see what the rest of this Saturday does. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on my next show.